This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Andy Lee here in Saudi Arabia. Andy, firstly, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Your man, your child, Joseph Parker. It's kind of like out of the fire into the frying pan, one big fight into another one. What does it take as a boxer to have that mentality? When you look at Joe Parker, he has fought pretty much everybody outside of Fury or Usyk. He has challenged himself against the best. What's it like having a fighter who just throws caution to the wind and he wants that?
I think it's confidence from Joe that he can beat anyone and belief that he can beat anyone. But for me as a coach, it's my decision. Like with me and Joe, we talk about who we're going to fight when there's proposed fights. Um, this is a huge risk, but there's huge reward because you're going to be the top contender if you win. Um, we know it's a huge challenge as well, but in some way Joe needs that challenge because you can't go from fighting Deontay Wilder to go fighting some middle and heavyweight. We need to keep these challenges coming because it'll bring out the best in Joseph.
I did a few interviews with people in the coming months after the Wilder performance, and some people said to me that they feel that's arguably the first time we saw the imprint of yourself on Joseph Parker in terms of what you've been working on in the gym, certainly at a high level fight. Do you feel like that's the first time we've really started to see what you guys have been putting together?
I think the second Chisora fight was as good as performance, and then we had a long layoff, and then he had to fight. He fought Joyce, in which we became unstuck, and we know the reasons why. But so we've reeled back up now. Again, Joe's full of confidence, full of belief, and yeah, I think it's that people are just starting to see what he can do.
How much better do you feel Joe Parker can become? How much more does he have to offer?
A lot more, a lot more. But it's more about improving on what he already does. And for Joseph, it's about being present when he's fighting, about being deliberate, placing his punches. And outside of that, he's got all the ability, he's got all the moves. He can throw every punch in the book. He's got great footwork, he's got great hand speed, he's got great combinations, he's got great coordination. So it's more about the internal improvements Joe can make, concentration, focus all the time.
I mean, you mentioned the internal improvements, but he stayed concentrated and focused for 12 for the 12 rounds against Deontay Wilder. Talk to me about that staying focused for so long against somebody as heavy-handed as him, and he won pretty much every round.
Yeah, that was a fight where he stayed focused and he stayed on point. This fight will be a different, like those fights where there's lulls in the action and Joe was the one who was pressing it. You have to be focused and concentration, and you have to, like, there's a difference between some fights are quiet and there's a lot of time to think, which what the Wilder fight was. This fight will be, I think, it'll be a faster pace. I think Zhang will try and push Joe back, and Joe will have to be more instinctual.
It leads nicely into my next question. When you envisage this fight, how does it play out in your own mind? I know you can't give too much away, but speaking to Gilles yesterday, he's adamant at some point the opportunity is going to be there for him to be able to stop Joe.
Yeah, that's good, and I hope he comes with that, because he'll make mistakes and then give Joseph opportunities. And just to go back to my last point, what I was trying to say is that when there's time in a fight, you have to be analytical. You have to pick your moments and choose when to attack, what punches to throw, and set up attacks. When a fight is a fast pace, it's when you rely on your instincts and things come naturally to you, or you do things and before you even think about them, you've done it, yeah, and the subconscious mind comes into play a lot. But since we've got the drawing board here, I'm going to explain to you guys how Joe will. So Zhang is a big southpaw, yeah? Yep. Big right hand in front. There's the glove. Thumb over that side, yeah? And when he throws this, left hand, he's right when he throws this, jab, and then he comes with the left hand out, like this. As you can see, he drops this one, leaving this side of his face open for the Samoan killer left hook. Zhang will be ears all flopping. no hair, so that's how it goes. That's what's going to happen in the fight. You've said it here before. First time, that's going to happen. Left hook for Joseph Parker, knockout.
I'm going to remember that, and that masterpiece is going on sale as well.
That's here.
You sign it?
This is the end of the interview.
Not just yet. Andy, I know you don't want to take it, you want to take it rather one step at a time, but I remember doing an interview with Ben Davison after AJ fought and beat Otto Volley, and he said if there's one fight he could run back with AJ, he'd love to have a chance to work with him for Usyk. If you're obviously with Joe Parker, if there's one fight in his career you'd love to run back and be in his corner for, have a rematch with, who would it be? Would it be AJ?
I think what would be nice for Joe is to have, like Lennox Lewis, beat the guys who he's lost to. That's 3 British guys, AJ, White and Joyce. Those guys are still good heavyweights, and yeah, AJ would be a good one, Joyce would be a good one, and White would be a good one if he comes back.
Just with the prep for this fight as well, how much of a benefit was it that you had Tyson preparing with a number of Southpaws out here in Saudi? I imagine that meant you didn't need to go looking far to try and get the right type of Southpaw sparring in?
No, Tyson had them all tied up at the start. We got some great guys. Zach Spiller from Houston, Texas. Peter Miles from Croatia. Mozesai Tuma and Agaron Smaki, the smacker, who did the cut. And those guys were great sparring partners for Joseph. They have really brought it, and Mozesai Tuma is a really special talent, and for anybody who's watched boxing, he'll be a future world champion, definitely.
Just on the Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk delay of the cut, I want to get your thoughts on that entire situation and the delay to the fight.
What can you do? These things happen all the time. It's happened to me plenty of times. I've had fights or training camps where I've been cut under the head guard, even like right here and stuff. These things happen all the time, and it's very unfortunate. But it builds it again, makes the fight even bigger. To me, it just builds a whole nother story and a layer to the fight that's already been built.
Is that a concern as a team, that if maybe Usyk starts to try to target that in the fight, get it to open up, because it's obviously happened in the Volin fight and now in sparring?
Yeah, listen, a cut can happen anytime. You might not have any cut and then it can happen in the fight. It's just something you have to deal with. So that was it. Listen, it's not, I don't think targeting it, whatever, you might do, but you leave it, like, you know, with everything in life and in boxing, you target one thing, you leave yourself open for another thing, you know. There's always action and counteraction.
Final one from me, Andy. The headline event on Saturday, Joshua Ngannou. Obviously, I imagine, like most, will expect AJ to get the job done, but just get your take on that fight, please.
Yeah, you'd expect AJ to win and box and win, but I don't think it's like a foregone conclusion. I think it's an interesting fight because Ngannou showed that he's tough. He can take a punch. He's a hard man to hurt, and he's got better boxing ability than I give him credit for. I thought Tyson would outbox him pretty easy, but he's quite smart, patient. He waits and waits and waits, and then he'll surprise you. So you got to be careful all the time. And like I said about Joseph, you got to be focused 100% of the time. So AJ's a huge favourite in the fight because of his pedigree, Olympic champion and world champion. But it's an interesting fight because they're both big men.
Andy, I appreciate your time as always. Obviously, good luck on Friday night. I'm sure I'll see you about.
Remember this.
Oh, we'll not forget that.
Drops the left, Joe comes with the left hook. That's the way it's going to go.